checking in with another Fire Emblem update. I am right before Mission 8 in Fire Emblem Fate's Conquest, so this is the more traditional part of the game that I am getting an army, and I am hitting some of the features that were blocked before. The My Castle thing is kind of interesting. I'm not really sure where it's gonna end up at this point, but it is sort of interesting. I suppose I'll talk about the army. I guess some impressions first. The partnering system is definitely different in this one than the previous one. I've noticed that when you're partnered up, when you actually have someone on top of you, you get the stats, but you don't necessarily get that second attack. So if someone's next to each other, they get the attack. So it's different, and the enemy can partner up now, which I do not remember happening in Fire Emblem Awakening. So that's definitely an interesting strategical element. So far, it's definitely been fun. It has been harder, certainly, especially in the beginning when you don't have that many options when it comes to your army. I do like the fact that I actually have people now. It was kind of weird, like playing through all the introductory areas where you didn't necessarily have people that were going to stick with you. So now that I have some people I think I can concentrate on, it's a little bit better. I'm going to go through each of those things, each of those people. First of all, Corran. He's a higher level than a bunch of other ones because I've had him the longest, and he's been useful in certain ways. Obviously, he hits pretty well with the sword. I think he's got pretty high HP and strength for this beginning section, and yeah, I mean, he's a pretty good character. But he can also turn into a dragon, so I did not expect to be able to have a guy that could just turn into a dragon so quickly, especially since that wasn't how Fire Emblem Awakening worked at all. But the dragon has been my my secondary wall and damage soak. So there's definitely been boss battles where that was seemed to be the easiest way to win, was to just fight with the dragon, because it may not attack as hard as his sword does, but he's able to take the hit. So that's been useful. I have my 3DS here, which is what I'm looking at. Felicia, the maid, definitely an interesting class. I have been concentrating on her to bring her up higher level because I think she could be useful eventually, especially when it comes to being an anti-mage, just like the ninja I was using in a previous mission. She has high resistance and she has pretty high speed. She also has decent luck too. Is what? Yeah, got pretty good luck. Yeah. So I see her being useful at the point. I also know that you can't grind in this one, so I better make sure people are useful. Elise is a troubadour. I do like having a second healer, especially early on. It's been useful, but troubadours have never been my favorite class, even amongst the healers. I just think they tend to be the thing that's died the most, and I've had a couple deaths so far that I've had to restart from. So having a troubadour this early makes me a little nervous. But as a character, I think she's adorable. So sure, we'll keep her. Silas is a cavalier. It seems to hit pretty hard for a cavalier. I don't remember cavaliers being this useful. I mean, I guess if you look at his stats, he's not quite as good as like Corran is, but he'll do for now. Arthur's a fighter. Arthur reminds me of like a parody of a superhero, like the Tick or something. Like he's got a big goofy smile. I enjoy his personality, and he's I'll definitely use him going forward. Effie is a knight. I haven't met a knight I don't like and don't find useful. I definitely enjoy knights and generals. I think they're incredibly useful for pulling an enemy in to attack range and dealing with it as you're able to. So she's been really good so far. She has actually died. She was hit hard by a boss that get hit twice, so her lack of speed kind of went against her. But her in combination with somebody else, I've done to pull monsters in and take a bunch of damage, and then actually soften them up for somebody else. Usually Felicia, or actually Mozu. Mozu was in the first paralogue, and she is a villager. Now, in the previous game, Fire Emblem Awakening, Donald was the only villager you had, and he was super overpowered, basically. If you used him enough, his ability of, what is this? I think it was adding 20% to each stats odds of leveling up when you level up. That was really, really good. I noticed this one with Mozu, it lowered to 10%, which is probably smart, but I have been feeding her, I suppose. If she's anything like Donald, she's going to be really good in the long run. So I will definitely be using her. She's definitely weak at the moment, but I have been able to work around that. So that is my army so far. I know there's a lot of Fire Emblem left to play, so